Welcome everybody to the tutorial on the Advis Fiduciary UIT score. As you can see, we're starting here at the product page. For this example, we'll be using the Dividend Advantage Portfolio Series 2025-1Q. So to get down to the AdFi score, I'll go to the Jump To section here and click on AdFi score, which will take me right down to the AdFi score section on the product page. So before I get started, let's talk about what is the AdFi UIT score. Well, the score is a transparent and objective investment rating system used to evaluate investment trust strategies. It assists financial professionals to demonstrate a prudent investment selection and monitoring process of UIT strategies in a fashion that can be really clearly understood by everybody. It helps quickly identify specific UIT strategies that may merit continued research and analysis and simplifies the ongoing monitoring process of the product. The score is just a snapshot report on a UIT strategy. It's a valuable tool to identify and monitor UITs as part of a due diligence process, but is not intended nor it should be used as the only source of information for reaching an investment decision. So you can see here, right here is the overall score in which every product you'll see a speedometer. Now, the one thing I want to touch on is for the speedometer, it works in opposite as you would think as a car, where 0 is the highest scoring metric and 100 is the lowest score. As you can see here on the right, the Dividend Advantage portfolio has a score of 15 up here in the green, which is pretty high, and explains that this trust scores the same or higher than 82% of the trusts in its peer group. The score is determined by analyzing UIT strategies on different criteria to determine a minimum fiduciary standard of attention is being endured. The criteria consist of regulatory oversight, track record, expense ratios relative to peers, risk-adjusted performance relative to peers, and performance relative to peers, which we'll get more into shortly. So if we click the next tab, which is breakdown, right here you see the scoring breakdown of this particular product. Now, the AdVi UIT score is a peer percent ranking of a UIT strategy against a set of quantitative due diligence criteria you'll see here on the left. We use 1, 3, and 5-year cumulative return, 1-year Sharpe ratio, 3-year Sharpe ratio, 1 and 3-year alpha, and the total annualized expenses of the product. You'll see the value here of the metric, the rank where it scores, the actual score, and then description of where it fell within its peer group. And our peer groups really do focus a lot on quartiles and the bottom 10%. So as I said, each UIT strategy is evaluated against a set of these factors and thresholds. If a UIT strategy fails one of the factors or thresholds, points are allotted that you'll see in the score column. Next, the points are totaled, and the total for each UIT strategy is ordered from lowest to highest within each peer group. Each strategy is then given a percentile ranking based on its placement in the distribution of the peer group. So if I move on to performance and risk, here is the more in-depth performance and risk metrics of the product. So we give you the 1 and 3 and 5 year, where it ranked and what the median score was. Standard deviation and R squared are included in this table, but are not included in the scoring. This is more for just information purposes. So if we move over to peer group, you'll see that this is the ranking of the peer group, and it's broken down by asset class and investment strategy goal, with other information here on the right, like the type style and the different scores. UIT strategies with 0 points are automatically given an AdVi UIT score of 0. Every other UIT strategy is given a score of 1 to 100, representing their percent ranking based on its placement in the distribution of their peer group. So if I scroll, you can see as the scoring goes up, the percentage in the ranking of the peer group starts to go down. This is a larger peer group we use for example, so you can see as it changes to the different quartiles and then into the bottom 10%. A couple things to note is that this score is calculated on a daily basis for UITs utilizing the composite performance method from Advis, reinvesting dividends, and brokerage expenses. In addition, only UIT strategies with a 1-year performance history will receive a score. So speaking of history, we'll move over to the last tab. Because this score is calculated on a daily basis and all the different metrics can change on a daily basis, this score is updated since the deposit of the actual series. So you can see if you look in here when it deposited back in February, it maintained a 35 score and then improved, came back down and improved again. You can follow the track history of the specific UIT strategy. For more information and very specific information on how this is calculated, the metrics and so forth, feel free to make sure you check the disclosure section as well as the brochure for the UIT Advis score, because this tutorial was really just a high level explanation of the score and how it can be used. Thank you for watching.